We all know that the presidential candidates for the US election are
Try!
Hillary Clinton is basically corrupt, and Donald Trump is, well, Donald Trump. By now, we all want Bernie Sanders or Obama for a third term, or Ted Cruz, basically anyone other than these two. But what if I told you there was, and he played in the NBA? Now, I know what you're thinking. What? But if Arnold Schwarzenegger can become governor of California,
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Bill Bradley was born in my home state, in Crystal City, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis. He was always really tall. He was 6'5" by the age of 15. In high school, Bradley worked a lot. He would practice for 3.5 hours every day after school, 9 to 5 on Saturday, 1:30 to 5 on Sunday, and in the summer about 3 hours a day. He put on 10 pounds of leads in his sneakers every practice, and he wore cardboard under his glasses so he couldn't see the floor. For a good dribbler, according to him, never looks at the ball. He stuck to that schedule and it paid off. He was named All-American twice and was offered scholarships by 75 schools. By the end of his senior year, he was a top high school player in the country. And he eventually ended up in Princeton, the Ivy League school. That's crazy. Princeton? That's crazy. As a rookie in college, Bradley averaged 27 points a game. In an interview, he even said that he could have scored more as a freshman. In just his second year, the coach for the St. Louis Hawks already believed that he could play in the NBA. Bradley holds the Ivy League records for points per game and free throws made and attempted. Bradley's coach at Princeton described him as not the most physical player. Others can run faster and jump higher. But the difference is self-discipline. While at Princeton, he had 3 to 4 hours of classes and 4 hours of basketball daily. He studied an average of 7 hours each weekday and up to 24 more hours each weekend. When at practice, he wouldn't move from a location until he made at least 10 of 13 shots. And he could also tell when the basket was an inch off of regulation 10 feet. He would even study until 2 a.m. after a basketball game. Not only that, but he led the 1964 U.S. basketball team to a gold medal as a senior. Okay, by now you think that this guy can't do anything better. After being accepted to an Ivy League school and still managing to be one of the best players in the country. But it does get better. What? In 1965, Bill Bradley was drafted by the New York Knicks in a territorial pick, the last of its kind. But he declined the offer to sign a contract because he accepted a Rhodes Scholarship from Oxford. Now, if you don't know what a Rhodes Scholarship is, it's widely considered to be one of the most prestigious scholarships in the world. In its 100 years of existence, less than 10,000 people have received it. A Pulitzer Prize winning author was so impressed with the story, he wrote an article on him, which he later expanded into a book. While studying at Oxford in politics, philosophy, and economics, he still managed to play professional basketball for Olimpia Milano during the 1965 to 1966 season, where he won them a European Championship Cup. And he managed to do this while studying with one of the best universities in the world. He is now in the Olimpia Milano Basketball Hall of Fame. In April 1967, Bradley dropped out of Oxford 2 months before graduation, though he eventually graduated in 1968 to join the Air Force Reserves. After spending about 5 to 6 months there as an officer, he joined the New York Knicks mid-season in December. In just his second game with the Knicks, Bradley scored 23 points. However, he was pretty average for the rest of the season. Led by Willis Reed and Dick Barnett, the Knicks got the 3rd seed in the Eastern Division, only to fall to Wilt Chamberlain's 76ers in the first round. In his second season, Bradley played all 82 games and averaged 12 points a game. Helped by the breakout of Walt Frazier, the Knicks were still able to maintain the 3rd seed. This time, they got past the first round, beating the first-seeded Baltimore Bullets in 4 games, but eventually losing to the Boston Celtics in 6. By now, Bradley was coming into his own as a supporting piece for a contending team. He even had his own nicknames, such as Dollar Bill and Mr. President. In his 3rd season, Bradley upped his points per game to 14.5 and had 4 assists on 30 minutes a game. The Knicks finished first in the Eastern Division and won in 7 games in the first round, a hard-fought series over the Bullets. Then they took on the Bucks, who they beat in 5 games, and then met the Lakers in the finals. After a competitive series, the Knicks were able to clutch it out in 7 games. Despite the Lakers having Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, and Elgin Baylor, their all-around team contribution eventually won it for them. With the championship in 1970, Bill Bradley became the first ever player to have won an NBA title, an Olympic gold medal, and a EuroLeague title. The only other player ever in history to do that is Manu Ginobili. The year after they won the championship, the Knicks couldn't make it back to the finals. The year after, they made it to the finals but fell to the Lakers. Then in 1973, Bill Bradley put up 16 points a game with a season high of 38, which garnered him an All-Star appearance. The Knicks made it all the way to the finals, and they were able to beat the Lakers in 5 games, where Bill Bradley led the Knicks in points per game with 18.6. However, Willis Reed won the finals MVP. After those 2 championships, the Knicks haven't won one since. After 1973, Bill Bradley had an average career, only having 11 points a game. In the second to last year of his career, he wrote a book pretty much talking about what he experienced in the NBA and the people he met along the way. Bradley retired from basketball in 1977, and he was elected into the Hall of Fame in 1983. Then in 1984, the Knicks retired his jersey, number 24. The 4th player to have his jersey retired after Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, and Dave DeBusschere. Later, Bradley was inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame, along with names such as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Pete Maravich, Julius Erving, Wilt Chamberlain, and Elgin Baylor. When he was still in college, his coach predicted that Bradley would be governor of Missouri or president by 40 years old. Bradley seemed to want to live up to that. The summer he retired, he declared he was running for governor of New Jersey. He was able to win in the general election with about 56% of the vote. He went on to serve for 2 more terms after that. He could have possibly run for 4 terms, but he retired, declaring that US politics were broken. He said that neither political party speaks to people where they live their lives. Both have moved away from my own concept of service and my own idea of what America can be. Despite this, 4 years later, Bill Bradley ran in 2000 for the Democratic Party, opposing the former Vice President Al Gore. He supported universal health care, gun control. He proposed to give $2 billion to every state for education, and he promised to bring 60,000 new teachers into the education system by offering college scholarships to anyone who agreed to become a teacher after graduating. He also focused on child poverty and the minimum wage, and increased the availability of food stamps. During this campaign, he was even sponsored by Michael Jordan.
I know the kind of America I want for my children. It's a place where every family has good health, and no family suffers the tragedy of gun violence. It's a place where every child has a bright future, and where skin color or eye shape doesn't matter anymore. It's a place where you can be proud to be an American. It's time for us to believe in something that will give every American an opportunity to succeed and be viewed equally. That's why I'm supporting Bill Bradley for president. Shouldn't you?
In March 2000, Bradley dropped out of the presidential election race, as he never won any of the primaries, and he decided to endorse Al Gore. But then Al Gore lost to George W. Bush, even though he had the popular vote. That's the Electoral College for you, everybody. Woo! After the presidential election, Bradley retired from politics. Later, Bradley was offered a spot on the U.S. Olympic Committee, which he turned down. Bradley was asked by the New Jersey Democrats to run for senator again, but he declined that as well. Now he spends most of his time writing books and engaging in a weekly radio show called American Voices. In 2003, Oxford awarded Bradley an honorary Doctor of Civil Law, in which described him as an outstandingly distinguished athlete, a weighty pillar of the Senate, and still a powerful advocate of the weak. He supported Howard Dean in his presidential campaign in 2004. In 2008, Bradley revealed that he was supporting Barack Obama. When asked about his future in 2014, he said that he enjoyed what he was doing then, which is some sort of real estate capital venturism, something like that. But I think it's been established that he's not coming back to politics anytime soon. Which is a shame, because it would be really cool to have this guy as president. He seemed to be really intellectual and just an all-around awesome guy, honestly. Even though Bradley isn't interested in becoming president, I still feel like he's a really interesting character. He's the best of both worlds, of athletics as a 2-time NBA champion and all-star, and of academics as a Rhodes Scholar, an author, and senator of New Jersey. And the funny thing is, no one really knows about him. I literally stumbled upon him while I was doing something else. I feel like more people should know about this guy who's accomplished so much in his life. Well, you just watched this video, so that sorta helps. If you liked the video, do the obvious thing, and peace.